so much for coming over. I've missed you. How are you? That's good. Yeah, I'm good. You know, just working and everything. Do you want something to drink? Okay. Alright, well, let me know. I can get you something. Yeah, I have water. I have tea. I have coffee. You just let me know, okay? Great. So I'm really excited you came over. I just ordered a Kindle, and I'm giving away some of my books because I'm going to download them all to the Kindle. I think it's going to be a lot easier for me. So I thought that you could take a look at some of them, and I could, let you know about some of the books I have and see which ones you might like. Okay, great. I'm so excited. Yeah, I think you're really going to like these books. I picked them out especially for you. Ones that I think that you'd really enjoy. So, okay. So, the first thing actually is this bookmark. It is the lunar excursion module flying over the moon because it's going to land on it. I know you really like space. And I do too. We've talked about it. We need to go down to Houston and go see Mission Control. I think that'd be really cool. So I gave you this. Okay. The first book is, I know that you kind of like sappy romance books. I do too. And I'm actually surprised you haven't read this because you've seen the movie. But this is Nicholas Sparks' Walk to Remember. They even have Mandy Moore and Shane West on the front of it because they play the main characters, remember? So, it's a little bit of a different story because it's based in a different time. So the movie was kind of like in the 90s, and this is more based in the 50s. I wanted to read you a little excerpt from the prologue. I close my eyes, and the years begin to move in reverse, slowly ticking backward, like the hands of a clock rotating in the wrong direction. As if through someone else's eyes, I watch myself grow younger. I see my hair changing from gray to brown. I feel the wrinkles around my eyes begin to smooth. My arms and legs grow sinewy. Lessons I've learned with age grow dimmer, and my innocence returns as that eventful year approaches. Then, like me, the world begins to change. Roads narrow, and some become gravel. Suburban sprawl has been replaced with farmland. Downtown streets teem with people, looking in windows as they pass Sweeney's Bakery and Polka's Meat Shop. Men wear hats, women wear dresses. As the courthouse up the street, the bell tower rings. I open my eyes and pause. I am standing outside the Baptist church, and when I stare at the gable, I know exactly who I am. My name is Landon Carter, and I am 17 years old. This is my story. I promise to leave nothing out. First you will smile, then you will cry. Don't say you haven't been warned. That's very true. So, you can choose if you want to take that one. The next one, yeah, I think you'd really like it. The next one is a medical book, and I know that I'm probably into this more than you, but I think you'll really like this book. It's called Another Day in the Frontal Lobe by Katrina Furlick. A brain surgeon exposes life on the inside. This is a fascinating book. It really is. She discusses her life and how she got into medicine and neurosurgery and some of the cases that she's encountered, both of which mainly are fascinating and a couple are a little sad, but this is a really good book. Katrina Furlick is a neurosurgeon, one of only 200 or so women among the alpha males who dominate this high-pressure, high-prestige profession. She is also a superbly gifted writer. witty, insightful, at once deeply humane and refreshingly wry. Dr. Furlick draws on this rare combination to create a unique memoir of her compelling experiences. From OR theatrics to thorny ethical questions, from the surprisingly primitive tools in a neurosurgeon's kit to glimpses of future techniques like the brain lift, Furlick cracks open medicine's most distinguished and secretive specialty. Candid, smart, clear-eyed, and showcasing vivid portrayals of Furlick's most memorable cases, Another Day in the Frontal Lobe is a mesmerizing glimpse into a world of incredible competition and incalculable rewards. This is a really good book. I hope that it's one that you choose. I really like it. The next 3 are it's a trilogy. So it's the Hunger Games series, and I've been trying to get you to read this for a while. I really hope that you'll take my advice. I think you'll really like it. I know that you aren't really into young adult novels, but this is really good, and if you read them, and I hope that you will, then we can watch the movies together because they are amazing. So they come in 3. I have 2 of them in hardback and 1 of them in paperback. And so the first one is called simply The Hunger Games. The second one is called Catching Fire. And the third one is called Mockingjay. And you will understand why those titles are used. So I'm going to read you a couple of snippets from the first chapter of this book just to give you an idea of what you'd be getting into. When I wake up, the other side of the bed is cold. My fingers stretch out, seeking Prim's warmth, but finding only the rough canvas cover of the mattress. She must have had bad dreams and climbed in with our mother. Of course she did. This is the day of the reaping. I prop myself up on one elbow. There's enough light in the bedroom to see them. My little sister Prim, curled up on her side, cocooned in my mother's body, their cheeks pressed together. In sleep, my mother looks younger, still worn, but not so beaten down. Prim's face is as fresh as a raindrop, as lovely as the primrose from which she was named. My mother was very beautiful once too, or so they tell me. The rules of the Hunger Games are simple. In punishment for the uprising, each of the 12 districts must provide 1 girl and 1 boy, called tributes, to participate. The 24 tributes will be imprisoned in a vast outdoor arena that could hold anything from a burning desert to a frozen wasteland. Over a period of several weeks, the competitors must fight to the death. The last tribute standing wins. Taking the kids from our districts, forcing them to kill one another while we watch. This is the capital's way of reminding us how totally we are at their mercy, how little chance we would stand of surviving another rebellion. Whatever words they use, the real message is clear. Look at how we take your children and sacrifice themselves, and there's nothing you can do. If you lift a finger, we will destroy every last one of you, just as we did in District 13. To make it humiliating as well as torturous, the capital requires us to treat the Hunger Games as a festivity, a sporting event pitting every district against the others. The last tribute alive receives a life of ease back home, and their district will be showered with prizes, largely consisting of food. All year, the capital will show the winning district gifts of grain and oil and even delicacies like sugar, while the rest of us battle starvation. It is an extremely compelling book. I myself wasn't sure about reading this book, and then I did, and I couldn't put it down. And then I had to buy the other 2 books and I had to finish them. So, like I said, I hope that you choose these because I really think that you would like them. All of these books that I picked, I think that you would like them. This one I'm not giving to you, I just wanted to show it to you. This is The Hunger Games in Russian. It is all 3 books in one. It's written in Russian. You know that I studied Russian, so I even have a degree in it. So I'm trying to go through it slowly and read it and translate it and, try to understand a little bit more about how writing is moved from, English to Russian. I have the first paragraph roughly translated, and it roughly does work as far as a translation. It's a little bit loose. It's a loose translation more than direct, but it's still pretty much is word for word what it said in the English version. Like, I wake up and I feel that near me the bed is empty. I try to search by touch for the heat of Prim, but under my fingers only the rough upholstery of the mattress. No wonder it's the day of harvest, otherwise known as the reaping. So it's pretty close, but there's a lot to read. So, but I just thought this was cool. Okay, next is this book. I know that you will like this book because you've seen the movie 1,000 times. We've watched it together, and I know you really enjoy space. But what's great about this book is the fact that it is a true telling of what happened, because it's written by James Lovell and Jeffrey Kluger. He helps him with most of the prose, and it's just incredible what they had to go through. And I wanted to read you a little bit from the actual part of the mission where everything goes wrong, when they ask Jack Swigert to do the cryo-stir for the oxygen tanks. In the 16 seconds following the beginning of the cryo-stir, the astronauts of Apollo 13 were executing their next maneuvers and awaiting additional commands when a bang, whoomp shudder shook the ship. Swigert, strapped in his seat, felt the spacecraft quake beneath him. Lovell, moving about the command module, felt a thunderclap rumble through him. Hayes, still in the tunnel, actually saw its walls shift around him. It was nothing that Hayes and Swigert had ever experienced before, nor was it anything that Lovell, with his 3 prior flights and weeks spent in the cosmic deep, had come across either. Lovell's first impulse was to be pissed off. Hayes. This had to be Hayes and his bloody repress valve. Once, maybe, the joke was funny, but twice? 3 times? Even allowing for a rookie's misplaced exuberance, this was pushing things too far. The commander turned towards the tunnel to find the eyes of his crewmen and scald them with an angry glare, but when the 2 men's glances locked, it was Lovell who was brought up short. Hayes's eyes were huge, unexpectedly huge, saucer-wide and white on all sides. These weren't the crinkly, merry eyes of someone who had just gotten off another good one at the expense of his boss and was awaiting a smiley rebuke. Rather, they were the eyes of someone who was frightened, truly, wholly, profoundly frightened. "It wasn't me," Hakes croaked out in an answer to the commander's unasked question. Lovell turned to his left to look at Swigert, but he got nothing. He saw the same confusion here, the same answer there, the same eyes here. Over Sweigert's head, high up in the center section of the command module's console, an amber warning light flashed on. Simultaneously, an alarm sounded in Hayes' headphone, and another warning light on the right-hand side of the instrument panel, where the electrical systems were monitored, began to glow too. Zweigert checked the panels and saw that there appeared to be an abrupt and inexplicable loss of power in what the crew called Main Bus B, one of two main power distribution panels that together provided juice to all of the hardware in the command module. If one bus lost power, it meant that half the systems in the spacecraft could suddenly go dead. And we all know what happens after that, since this is a true story. But I'll let you read the rest of it. And you can also see some amazing pictures. There's the spacecraft after the explosion. Isn't that incredible? That's incredible. So there's lots of pictures, and it's just a really good account, and it not only talks about this main mission, but also how James Lovell got into space and how other astronauts that we know of, well, from history books and things, got into space, and even talks about what happened in Apollo 1. So it's a really good book. And as you can see, I've read it a bunch of times. Some of it's starting to come apart, but most of it's actually pretty intact. Second to last is Yes, Please by Amy Poehler. I love her. She is so funny and witty and intelligent, and this book is just all about her life, how she got into comedy, things about SNL, and particularly Parks and Recreation, which I know that you're a fan of. So I wanted to show you a little bit from that section where she does talk about that show and everything. See, look, and she even has some pictures too. Like, here's a picture of her and Seth Meyers when they were on SNL. So. Oh, can you hear the thunder outside? Oh, it's starting to rain. Wow. You can stay here until it ends. We can sit on the couch and chat, or we can watch Netflix or something. Yeah. I didn't want you to come over just so I can give you some books and then send you away. No. We can hang out. So, part of this is a little blurb from the script from the first episode. B-roll. Leslie staring out her office window at the small courtyard that serves her view. Leslie. I've been in this parts department for 6 years, and I've handled some things I'm proud of. For example, last year I led the citywide drive to disinfect the sandbox sand after those problems with the cats. I heard some testimony from mothers of toddlers that would make you cry. But this pit, the chance to build a new park from scratch, she thinks, this is my Hoover Dam. I remember standing and watching the props guys make it rain in our fake outside courtyard as we shot the B-roll of that scene, the shot of Leslie from outside the window that the audience would see as she spoke those words. I listened to the words being read aloud by Greg and Mike, and I realized this was my new job. A tiny whisper, no louder than the who that Horton hears, told me we were going to make it. I believed. We almost didn't make it. That first year was rough. Critics compared us to The Office, and not kindly. Our ratings were okay, but not great. Deadline Hollywood decided to publish our pilot testing results, which was basically like having someone publish the worst parts of your diary. According to testing, a lot of people liked it when, quote, that Parks lady fell into the pit. It wasn't a good sign when people wanted the show's lead character to fall into a hole. We regrouped. We changed a little. We figured out what worked and soldiered on. Network presidents came and went as we hung on for dear life. Some of us liked us more than others. Some canceled us on airplanes only to change their minds before landing. Critics started to watch the show again and notice new things. We kept our heads down and did our jobs. We controlled the only thing that we could, which was the show. We did the thing, because remember, the talking about the thing isn't the thing. The doing of the thing is the thing. In season 2, we started to gain momentum. Critics put us on lists and we were nominated for awards. Everyone realized we would never be a ratings juggernaut, but we just kept plugging along as we watched new NBC show after NBC show die on the table next to us. To be fair, we were often on life support ourselves. We would finish a season never really knowing if we would have another one, so Mike would always push the writers to take big swings and let characters evolve and change. Rob Lowe and Adam Scott joined us and made us better and were less likely to get canceled. We just kept doing it. I love this, and I love that her message is that the doing of the thing is the thing. That is the thing you need to do. You need to keep going and persevere and do the thing. The thing that you want to do. What's your thing? What's your thing you want to do? I like that. You should do that. Yeah. No, you're smart. You definitely can do it. Go ahead. Yeah. We'll talk about it more in a little bit. Don't think I'm letting you get off that easy. No, we're going to talk about it because I'm going to convince you that you can do that thing. Finally, and I cannot believe that you've never read these books, but you are going to read them. This is non-negotiable. Okay, well, it's negotiable. You know I'm not going to force you, but I do think you would love them. Just read the first one, and then let me know if you like it. If you do, you can borrow the rest. Well, you can have the rest. I'm going to get them all on Kindle. So, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Actually, in the UK, it's the Philosopher's Stone. I don't remember the reason why they changed it. I think it works fine either way. And there are 8 other books. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. And then finally, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Did I say that there were 8 books? There were 8 movies. It's been a day. I won't read you any excerpts, but I will read you the back of this to try to reel you in. Harry Potter has never played a sport while flying on a broomstick. He's never worn a cloak of invisibility, befriended a giant, or helped hatch a dragon. All Harry knows is a miserable life with the Dursleys, his horrible aunt and uncle, and their abominable son, Dudley. Harry's room is a tiny closet at the foot of the stairs, and he hasn't had a birthday party in 11 years. But all that is about to change when a mysterious letter arrives by Owl Messenger, a letter with an invitation to a wonderful place he never dreamed existed. There he finds not only friends, aerial sports, and magic around every corner, but a great destiny that's been waiting for him if Harry can survive the encounter. You'd be willing to read the first book? Oh, good. I think you'll like them, but if you don't, that's okay. But if you like fantasy and magic and things like that, I think you'll really like it. That's why I kind of have a mix of, nonfiction, fiction, fantasy. Yeah. No, The Hunger Games isn't really fantasy. It's more young adult dystopian type of. It's set in a dystopian future, so it's definitely not fantasy. No, I wouldn't say so. Harry Potter definitely is, though. I think you'd really like it. Yeah. Great. Which ones did you want to take? Right. The first Harry Potter book. Okay. Amy Poehler's List. Yes, please. Okay, great. And the Hunger Games series. Okay. Did you want to take any of the other ones? You'll come. Okay. You can come back for them. That's fine. I'll hold on to them for you. Yeah. I don't want to overload you. And then you can let me know what you thought of them and we can talk about them. Yeah. That's great. Oh, I'm so excited. And will you take the bookmark too? Great. Oh, I'm so excited. Yeah. Okay, well, it's getting kind of rainy. Are you thirsty now? Do you want something to drink? Okay, we'll make some coffee and then we'll sit on the couch and we'll just chat and we'll catch up because it's been a while, hasn't it? I think it's been probably a couple months. Yeah, I want to hear about everything that's been going on. Fantastic. Yeah, and then maybe we'll get some dinner later or something. Okay, great. Well, let me get started on that coffee.